How y'all doing? I am back with another episode, as usual, how to move to Thailand. Man, I appreciate so many of you guys, feedback, and I appreciate all the messages that you guys been shooting over, to us. It means a lot. We're on a mission to help over 1,000, whether you're a digital nomad expat or trying to retire, move here to Thailand to get experience this beautiful part, of the world. And as usual, if you are serious about moving to Thailand or you need any resources, I highly suggest you guys check out our ebook on how to move to Thailand. It breaks everything down. And this is more than just an ebook. Over 50 pages of finding, digital nomad jobs to resources if you're looking to be here full time or you just in early stages, you don't know what to do to make sure your move is going to be smooth. I highly suggest you guys to check out our How to Move to Thailand ebook. Now, let's get into the topic. And this is it's an interesting nerve that it's been hitting because I found quite a few people have been running into these same cycles over and over and over. And me being curious because I want to make sure I'm helping people make the right decision, the best decisions. So the best way you can help people, you got to be understanding on what's happening on a day in and day out with people. This is how we can kind of help you guys to not fall in the same pitfalls. So let's kind of start with the first one that kind of come to mind where, people coming here and making a lot of mistakes. So the first thing is they don't have a proper budget, right? And what I mean not having, but they don't understand how much, like, what's your monthly budget like on things, right? You have rent, you have things, your entertainment, like what's your cost? And I've asked over 5 people. And out of all 5 people, how many people know their monthly expenses? 0, which is mind blowing. I think it's very important because we have to realize money is not unlimited, right? Money can and will run out if you are not careful, right? Because you have to understand where you're at financially. So you're making sure you're making the right decisions, for yourself. So I had this one of the gentleman that I spoke with. He said, "You know what? I'm just kind of things are so affordable here, man. I've just been kind of running up the tab. I don't really have to look at my costs like that. I'm not in the States anymore." And I told him, but yeah, what happens if you had an emergency, like, and then maybe you had to run back to the States, right? What can cost you a lot of money. And if you plan to come back here, right? So we see how that can add up, right? But we didn't have that in our costs, in our emergency expenses. So no one kind of had that answer. So I just want to advise you guys, make sure when you come here, whether, you're being here long-term, you understand where your money going on, whether weekly or daily or even a monthly. You're going to, do yourself justice in that understanding, right? Because things happen. Now, number 2 that comes to mind, I ask everyone out of the 5 people, do you have insurance? Once again, guess how many people had insurance? 0. And it's mind blowing. I'm like, ladies and gents, why we keep on making these mistakes? Because life happens, right? Right? Life happens. So why are we not making sure we have insurance? And I said, if something happened right now, are you confident or comfortable that you can pull a few $1,000s out your account, since you don't have insurance, to cover your emergency? Now I heard things are pretty cheap here. That's the last thing I'm kind of worrying about, because once again, I'm not back in the States. Is things cheaper here? And I say once again, absolutely. Mm, this thing, coffee is so good. And I say, absolutely, yes, things are cheaper here, but just remember, things can add up really quick, right? So I highly suggest, if you guys don't have insurance, make sure you get yourself insurance, because I've seen so many people get into accidents, motorcycle accidents, you name it. I've seen it over the years. And most of the people did not have insurance, and it cost them thousands of dollars. I was once in an accident a few years ago. Luckily, I had money in the bank to cover that. And if you guys looking for suggestion, I highly suggest you guys check out Safety Wing. They've been really amazing. I submitted my claim, and they were able to reimburse me for my hospital stay. So I highly, suggest you guys to check that out. Number 3, the same mistakes over and over and over. ATM fees. ATM fees add up so quick. Make sure, if you're going to pull amount of money, make sure you put a significant money amount, because it adds up. Each time you go to the ATM, right? Yep, you put your card in the machine. That's $7 each time. $7 each time. And guess what? We're not talking international exchange rate based on the banks back home that charge you for the international fees. So that each time you pull a little money, whatever you're going to put up, 50, 100, that can hit you in the wallet, maybe $10, $12, depending on your bank. I don't like to throw away money, but if that's what people enjoy doing, but I see people not making a smarter move, or, far as like understanding there's different ways you can go about, save. And I get it. Some people, they're cash. They enjoy using cash and stuff like that. But I think it's fair to say you should put out a significant, amount. Far as like insurance, banks goes here, it used to be kind of easier for, people who are here, moving here as a foreigner. As far as like open a bank account, things have gotten a bit tricky lately. So I highly suggest you guys to kind of do a bit more research on that if you're looking to go that route. Let's talk about the 4th things. Number 4, I see people not really kind of going out and trying to make friends, right? I see people going out, not trying to make friends, and they find themselves, you know what? Thailand is not what it cracked out to be. So I try to, dive a little bit more deep with them and say, like, what's wrong with Thailand? Like, I'm not saying Thailand is perfect, right? There's no perfect place in the world, right? We all have our different needs and our different wants, right? Does that make sense? So I said, like, bro, just walk me through what's life like for you? Like, how you been enjoying the food, the thing? And I'm like, how have you been meeting other foreigners or maybe Thais and stuff like that? How's things? He said, yeah, I ran into a few people and things. I had interesting conversations. So I'm like, so what's going on? I just kind of like sticking to myself, which is fine. I guess some people are more like to stick to them, but I found people finding themselves being kind of lonely in a sense, right? And I don't hear a lot of people kind of talk about this, but it's a real thing. Some people say, you know what? I decide I'm leaving Thailand. Like, there's nothing here for me. I'm not meeting good friends. I just felt like I'm just kind of in my own world here, right? So I think it's very important, if you plan to thrive in Thailand, you have to create a community, right? Which is very important. Meaning, you have to be open to putting yourself out there, just like back home. And I know it takes a lot of energy to making friends, because let's be honest, not everyone is your friend, right? And that takes with over time and building trust and understanding. But just remember, in the meantime, you don't have to find a best friend right away, but you can find people you enjoy doing other things with, maybe different hobbies, maybe kind of, sharing things that far as like, that you have in common, right? And these small little conversations is interesting how you can find out so much about each other and kind of, and willing to grow, right? And before you can build that, solid relationship, you have to understand, right? You have to understand about building connections, right? Which is very important. So before we talk about number 5, which is, I feel like it's really crucial. If you guys are looking to move to Thailand, we are here to help you. That ebook is here to help you. Or if you kind of enjoying our content, feel free to give a donation to the channel if you appreciate, but only appreciate the information that we sharing with you. Now, let's get into a very serious topic that I see is facing a lot of people, but they're not talking about it. Number 5, too much party and drinking. Yes. Do you know, I had some conversations with people. They find themselves drinking more than they were drinking back home. They say, you know what? It is more affordable here to drink, right? Because you can get cheaper drink compared to going to bars back home. But can things add up here as well? Yes, it can add up depending on where you're going for your drink. So I get it. In Thailand, if you do not govern yourself accordingly and understand you are now living here, you need to feel like you're interjected yourself in the culture, meaning living like you are a local here. And I don't mean local by just buying the cheapest, doing that. I mean interjecting yourself and having a normal life. I find people who are slipping into alcoholism, and I don't want to accuse people of being an alcohol because whatever, it's people personal business. No one is perfect. People dealing with whatever they're dealing with for why they're drinking. But people are really messing up their health. They're messing up their health because they're going out multiple times a week, heavy drinking multiple times a week, and not realizing you are on the borderline of alcoholism, right? And it took this person that kind of like just wanted to be real with me. Cause say, you know what, Jason, like what I appreciate, you always asking things like that normal people normally don't ask. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just a curious person. I love to be curious. I love to learn about people. So I like to ask these things. And I think it's very important. And we can hold each other accountable. I think it's very important. So I would highly suggest, and I'm going to kind of close this off here. Please, when you come to Thailand, figure out a way that you can create a normal routine for yourself, because Thailand is a very beautiful place to be. But if you're not careful, it can swallow you whole if you don't find yourself in a routine. So with that said, I hope this information was very, very, very valuable to you. Make sure you share it with others. Give a like and subscribe, on the channel, and let me know. Does anything resonate? Have you heard any stories around these areas? Or let us know, when are you planning to move here in Thailand? And hopefully, as we always say, it's not see you later, but see you soon in the land of smiles. Bye.